What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're back for some Destiny 2 news, updates, and content roundups. So we're going to talk about upcoming exotic quests in the game, gameplay changes, we'll even speak about time gating, we're going to touch on Niobe Labs, there is a bit of a cheese for that, got some new exotic rewards in the game, we'll also talk about hidden Forge loot, curated roles which are now a thing for the Forge, confirmations from Bungie about various other stuff in the game. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, a rating is very much appreciated as always, but for now, let's jump straight into it. So of course, over the last week or so, a bunch of new exotics and quests have jumped into the game. We've now got Izanagi's Burden, Jotun, which is dropping via powerful frames in Buguzia. There's also the mysterious datapad quest, which lands you a pretty neat emblem. In case you missed that video, then I'll link it down below. But of course, it leaves us asking the question, what is next? Well, obviously, Last Word is going to come on January 29th. We did recently get a glimpse at the quest steps for this. And yes, it's probably going to be at least a bit of a grind. However, on the subject of time gating and the community's frustration about this, Cosmo did clarify that the Last Word quest won't feature any time gate. So he said, you will be able to complete the steps at your own pace and won't have to wait on any resets. So obviously that's really good news. Understandably, there's been a little bit of frustration in the community about this. RNG for rare bounties, lockouts on quests if you can't complete them in the first week and stuff like that. So fortunately with the Last Word, that won't be the case. Another thing to add on the subject of exotic quests though would be this comment from Cosmo. So he said, the Drifter has been tinkering with a way to get more access to the anomaly on Io, and he says he's getting close. This was actually in reference to the Whisper of the Worm quest availability, so it looks like we could get permanent access to that quest, but with Bungie making a change like that, potentially this could be linked to new content in Season of the Drifter as well. The crazy thing about this is that we're only around about a month and a half away from the end of Season 5, so time is certainly flying by. Next though, let's cover some rewards and things which we haven't touched on this week, as well as a slight cheese, and that would be for Niobe Labs. Initially though, the puzzle for Niobe Labs was finally solved by Glad, of course following a huge community effort, a whole bunch of people working on the various puzzles. And Bungie of course gave us early access to the Buguzia Forge, but loot-wise, when you complete Niobe's Torment, you do get the Hubris of Niobe emblem, as well as the Armory Forged Ghost Shell. Pretty cool items, I suppose the main thing is that they're going to be pretty rare. In terms of difficulty though, Niobe Labs actually isn't as bad as it first seemed. Now that all of the codes have been worked out, if you get yourself a fire team of committed players, then it's definitely achievable. There is in fact a cheese which was discovered by accident, and this is for Wave 7, certainly the hardest wave in the encounter, but during Wave 6, if you leave this yellow bar shank up, then it actually appears to interfere with half of the ad spawns in the final phase. You do have a few less ads, but especially the mini-bosses won't spawn during the final wave. And obviously that makes things a lot easier because you are putting in code puzzles throughout the encounter. But yeah, now that it's available, now that we know all of the puzzles, if you guys want to try and jump in and tackle it, I will leave a link down below to the puzzle infographics. These are pretty awesome for figuring out what you have to input. On top of this though, my pal Jarvinus does also have a video on clearing Niobe Labs as well as that cheese for Wave 7. So once again, I'll link that one down below. Now though, let's speak about more new loot in the game, Forge curated roles which are actually dropping, as well as some other hidden rewards. So firstly, I wanted to mention a new classified perk, just an interesting icon for a potential upcoming weapon bonus, or maybe even a catalyst. We can see this scope icon which is completely unique for Season 5, and this joins a collection of other unique perks which are stashed away for the future, possibly for legendary weapons, but once again, these could certainly be exotic catalyst bonuses for Year 2. In terms of new loot and collection items though, firstly, the Buguzia emblem and shader are now dropping, so we can see the new emblem, and this can drop randomly from the daily Buguzia Forge bounty. You'll also find that there are upgrades for each of these emblems that come from the forges, and these drop when you complete the 500 kill challenge for each forge in the Triumphs. Also, if you're wondering about the hidden badge triumphs for Black Armory, one is to return the Obsidian Accelerator in the mysterious datapad quest, and the other is to clear Niobe's Torment and acquire the emblem. Again, I do have the quest for the datapad linked below. Now though, another good reason to run Buguzia Forge right now would be for curated Forge weapons. So there have been many reports that these are dropping in the final Forge this week. The only unfortunate thing is that you do have to be doing a powerful frame to get one. However, curated roles are now dropping for Buguzia on any of the frames. So happy hunting on those, and let me know down below if you'd like to see a video with all of the new curated roles in it. Also though, if you need a rare Black Armory bounty for the Izanagi's Burden quest, on top of dropping from daily bounties, they can randomly drop at the end of a Buguzia Forge completion, so if you really need extra chances at this bounty, then you can run the Forge, but again, it will come down to RNG. One final mention for the new Forge and its rewards would be that if you obtain the Obsidian Accelerator item, be sure to take it to Ada, and you can turn this in on the second page. There is actually a use function on this consumable, which obviously Obviously, folks have tried, but Bungie have now confirmed that this is a bug, and you cannot use the accelerator for anything other than purchasing Obsidian Radiance. And of course, when you get these, you get a pretty cool visual effect on your weapons from the forge, as well as bonus weapon damage in all forges as well. Also, it does look like there will be other forge enemy rotations, as shown in many of the forge trailers. We do see Cabal in the Baguzia forge right here, and we've seen some other combinations, so it seems that we could see them change up a little bit in the future weeks, but I'll have to keep you posted. Moving on though, further on the subject of Black Armory and the lore associated with it, there is a pretty cool cutscene, or probably what I should call a dialogue scene with Ada 1, and here she gives us some backstory to her origins, and there's some pretty cool lore here. You get this dialogue when you collect all of the Black Armory pages inside of this DLC. Obviously they are a bit of a grind, some folks will go after them and some folks won't, but Sapandi on Reddit did post to the dialogue right here, so check this out.
Her name was Henriette. She was our founder, and my mother. All along. One and the same. I can't believe I never knew. The last page was a letter. Written to me. To me. Her death was self-sacrifice to save me. I will not waste this second chance at life. But she is only one of two reasons I stand here today. You are the other. There are not enough gifts from the Black Armory to show my appreciation. But no, you are always welcome here.
A pretty cool dialogue right there, some of the better story stuff that we've actually had with Black Armory. She does make reference to the letter that was written to her by her mother, and this is the final entry for the Black Armory pages themselves. And we get some pretty cool stuff here as well. Firstly, Dear Adelaide, so that's her actual name, and the letter reads, when those people and their drones found me alone at that deserted intersection, they demanded to know where you were. I offered them the Obsidian Accelerator, I gave it freely. You promised you would leave me, and you did, but you never said how far you would go, did you? You stayed close enough to watch through your scope. As the man took aim at my head, I heard the shot and assumed I was dead, but it was him who was dead, not me. You were so far that none of us knew where to look. The second man winged me with one of our own weapons. He began to gloat about that, but another round from you shut him up. 2 more Thunderer shots, and their drones were as dead as they were. I saw the glare from your scope disappear, and I knew you were heading away. I grabbed the accelerator, and got as far away from the shouts of the aggressors as I could. But it goes on to say, does the name Adelaide bring you any flicker of recognition? It is your birth name, and you heard it every day of your life until the day I sent you without your consent into a new world. She goes on to say, I know I will not see you again. If you want to know about your past, know that you were born a second time in Niobe Labs. When you were wounded at the labs, I saw you were losing the fight. I did what I always did when the chips were down. I created something, you, Ada 1. I did it out of fear of losing you forever. I charted the course of your life and made decisions that were yours to make and not mine. And it ends by saying, you know what's funny? I never considered how lucky I was for the time we had together. The envy of all mothers who lived. I got to love you twice, your mother, Henriette. So some pretty heartwarming backstory right there. Obviously, Ada has only just learned of her true origin, and via these letters, she is only just remembering her mother in some form. Either way, we do know that Adelaide actually went back and saved her mother, and they make reference to that glare from the sniper scope, which is pretty cool, because of course we know Izanagi's burden is a weapon associated with Ada 1 quite closely, and presumably that would be the weapon that she was using at some point. So I just wanted to round that up, guys, something that not everyone will necessarily notice, but it's some pretty cool backstory about Ada. Her family, the Mayrin family, which is the French armory associated with the Black Armory, and even Niobe Labs, where Ada 1 was actually created. So let me know your thoughts about that down below, guys. Now, guys, we're nearly at the end of the video. I just wanted to finish by listing some known issues right now. So firstly, Bungie are working on the guitar error code. This affects the Last Wish raid. They are still currently investigating, but they believe they found the cause of the issue, and essentially it happens when players hit a limit on the number of server-controlled objects within a single area. Basically, something is breaking a little bit inside of Last Wish, and that is the reason that guitar error is happening, but Bungie actually know why it is happening now. They say they do intend to try and ship this update in update 2.2.0 in March, so that'll be the beginning of Season 6 essentially as far as we know. There is also a continuation of the Forge Vital Information and Known Issues list, and there are some new things there linked to content this week, so if you've had any issues, I'll link This Week at Bungie down below. But for now, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts on the upcoming Last Word quest, Niobe Labs, and whether you might jump in to try it out, or any other forge loot that you're still hunting down in the game. But if you have enjoyed the video, a like is very much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe to see a lot more D2 content. Also, be sure to check out my sponsor, Now Drinks, who have some really cool stuff designed for gamers. You can check out their newest flavor. Now Drinks help improve focus and memory, but are stuffed with natural ingredients as opposed to sugar, caffeine, and all of that not so good stuff. So you can check them out in the link below if you want to. But guys, as always, thank you for tuning in, and whatever you get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.